So we're holding them to a standard we don't hold other places to, and that's not fair. Hey everybody, welcome or welcome back. I'm Para, and today we're going to be talking about the Warren Occult Museum. I'm a bit late to the game, as always, but I do prefer being a bit late with the hype stories because everybody's pushing out videos on it, and I'm a baby creator and probably not going to get seen if I do it then. But then I also play the risk of missing the hype, so it's a gamble, but whatever. So without further ado, grab a drink. I have tea. It is very hot. I just made it. So I'm not going to drink it right now, but I do have it. Go grab a drink, maybe get a snack, and let's get into the video. Okay, so as we all know, Matt Rife and some dude from Overnight, I think, I don't remember his name. I should probably know that. That is probably one of the things I should know. I have no idea which one of these I should trust, but they're all probably going to say the same bullshit, so let's just pick one. Matt Rife is a comedian, yeah, blah blah blah, and ghost hunter Elton Castee for the Paranormal Investigator's house and other legal guardians of the collection of supposedly haunted objects, including the Annabelle doll and other artifacts used in the Warren cases. I have officially purchased Ed and Lorraine Warren's home and occult museum, including being the legal guardian for at least the next 5 years of the entire haunted collection, including the Annabelle doll. Not the Annabelle doll. With my good friend Elton Castee. Reads the caption to a carousel of photos, the first of which show him and Castee posing with the Annabelle doll. If you know me, you know I'm obsessed with the paranormal and all things haunted. You may also know the Conjuring films are my favourite scary movies of all time, so I'm incredibly honoured to have taken over one of the most prominent properties in paranormal history. He continued, Ed and Lorraine Warren arguably put demonology and paranormal into the mainstream and are at the heart of some of the most famous haunted stories of all time, the Conjuring House and Amityville Horror. None of that is a lie. That is all true. It doesn't mean the Warrens weren't con artists. No, absolutely not. But they were at the heart of some of the most famous paranormal cases. It just so happens that those paranormal cases weren't paranormal cases, but they are still known as that. And also, people are going to believe whatever they want to believe. You can throw as much evidence in their face as you like as to why these cases aren't paranormal, why the Warrens were con artists, etc. If they don't want to believe you, they are not going to believe you, and I've done a whole video on why that's the case in mob mentality, which I will link in the description. I do feel like I'm the only person in the world that doesn't have a problem with this museum. But let's get into it. You probably know all this information already because everybody's already covered it, but like they were on it as well. Like I didn't even know this was a thing until all these videos started popping up, which I feel like happens to me a lot. So I need to get in on the gossip a bit more, and I don't know where to go for that. So like anybody could give me a heads up of like what news channels to follow or whatever, that would be great. For the first time in history, overnight bookings are now available. 90 more guaranteed nights added Feb to May. Available to book September 15th at 3 PM EST. We're currently working on opening a new permanent Warren Occult Museum in a public location where all items would move. And then we've just got some pictures and some of them go off the screen. So that's just bad website design, but whatever. The former home of Ed and Lorraine Warren. The Warren home is one of the most legendary locations in paranormal history. That is arguable because there was never anything wrong about the home. The home itself wasn't haunted. It was cleansed. It was blah blah blah. They didn't want a haunted home. They contained all their objects with holy water and cleansing and blah 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 blah. So it was just a museum that was haunted because of the cursed objects, not their home. But let's continue. For decades, this quiet New England house was where Ed and Lorraine Warren, the world's most famous ghost hunters, lived, worked and stored the artifacts from their most terrifying cases. Here is where Ed, a self-taught demonologist, which you can't do, but sure, and his wife Lorraine, a clairvoyant medium, founded the New England Society for Psychic Research in 1952 and soon after created the Warren Occult Museum. Together they investigated more than 1,000 cases ranging from possessions to poltergeists and became household names in supernatural research. I'm claiming bullshit on that one. I mean,
I think during the lecture maybe, or there's at one point, Ed is asked how many cases they've done. It's 1986. He says about 1,000. So as I've been reading the newspaper, going through as far back as I can going forward, I have seen them say so many different numbers. And in 1974, they said over 2,000 cases. So I thought that was funny.
Wow. So, I mean, yeah, like one of the things I like doing with this when people give me numbers like that, I like to look up and just figure if you do one investigation a week, okay, that's going to the house and recording whatever you need to, or spending hours there. If you do one a week, 1,000 investigations would take you 19.2 years to do. And it gets worse from there. I mean, now you're talking like almost 40 years if you're talking 2,000 cases. And this is something I brought up earlier. If they are investigating, like, are they actually investigating or just phoning it in?
Yeah.
Which is what they usually did. They showed up, they interviewed, they looked around, they gave themselves time to be alone so they could make up stories about themselves having experiences, and then they left. And then the family would just call, and they would have phone calls back and forth. So that's not investigating what's going on at the house.
No. I mean, yes, they probably did investigate / stick their nose into 1,000 cases. They didn't research shit. They didn't investigate shit. They didn't help with shit. If anything, they swooped in, sensationalized it, made it worse, and then went home. Or got kicked out. They exploited so many mentally ill people, like the wrong medication. I can't remember, I get my cases mixed up, but I think, I can't remember which case it was off the top of my head. Stevie from the Truth and Demons podcast, she has done extensive research into the Warrens cases. Go check her out because she'll be able to break it down much better than I can, at least off the top of my head. But I know that there was a case where this little boy had cancer and his hallucinations or whatever were caused by like the side effects of all the different medications he was taking. And once he got like properly medicated, everything was fine. And then you had like this random ass possession case that was just a crime of passion, that somebody was cheating on somebody else and there was a reaction. And then you had, I think it was Amityville, where the guy slaughtered like his whole family and he was just trying to get out of prison. I think it was the Warrens and the lawyer came up with the whole possession thing over a drink. A lot of these cases, the people involved in them have come out and been like, yeah, it was fake, or it was caused by something else. You know, we got mental health help and then it cleared up. It wasn't a demon or whatever. A lot of the time they would just swoop in and like the family would be claiming like a ghost or this weird presence that they couldn't explain, and the Warrens would be like, no, it's not a ghost. It's like this really bad demon who's like gonna do all this bad stuff. So you need our help. And then they would stab families in the back, not help them, get kicked out in some cases, and just exploit it. And that exploit them, make this whole media frenzy, make the situation so much worse, and then sell the rights to the book out from under them because it was the Warrens' experience, not the family's experience. So legal loopholes. Love that. I'm not sure if Florio has done any Warren videos from Florio's Phantom Files, but she's also really, really good at research. So she's also another one to go check out. But let's continue. The Warren Occult Museum and Passageway. Attached to the home via the haunted passageway is the Warren Occult Museum, a room that contains a collection of more than 750 haunted and demonic artifacts gathered across decades of investigations. Sorry. Did I say that? Items such as Annabelle, Shadow Doll, Conjuring Mirror, Satanic Idol, Vampire's Coffin, Devil Made Me Do It Dinosaur, Death Boards, Peggy the Doll, Black Magic weapons. Black magic is an inherently racist term, but sure. Devil swords, human skulls, fire doll, satanic panic items. Voodoo dolls, shrunken heads, and countless display cases filled with nearly 1,000 more items used in witchcraft, occult, and dark practices, each with its own story. Cool, so we're just straight up being racist. Sweet, love that. I know the Warrens at least claimed to be devout Catholic, So it would make sense that they would have like witchcraft items. It's also an occult museum, so like fine. But where's your just, I guess there's no draw to like your druid or your standard pagan occult items. But where's that? Why is it just ethnic magic? Why is it only POC magic, you know? The museum also houses 75 of Ed Warren's paintings, as well as his office with the original paranormal investigation devices used on the most infamous cases, many of which have never been seen before. Come and stay with us and be the first in history. For the first time in history, the home and office of legendary paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren will be available for overnight stays and paranormal investigations. Overnight stays will include supervised access to the Warren Occult Museum, which houses the most infamous haunted items in the world, including Annabelle, all of which will be conjoined with the largest collection of ghost hunting equipment in existence, available for use by our guests, as we aim to make this the greatest paranormal research location ever. I don't have a problem with this. I mean, I do wish it was written in more of a allegedly style, but it's a business at the end of the day. I'm pretty sure all/most supposedly haunted locations are written like this. Okay, I just grabbed some examples. I'm not doing all of them, obviously, but I wanted to start with 30 East Drive because it is one of the more legit places, at least by like the debunkers standards, you know. 30 East Drive, Pontefract is not a traditional guest house, hotel, B&B or party venue, and the owner recommends you do not visit, especially if you are of a nervous disposition or have a heart condition. The owner himself has never spent a night there and has no intention of doing so anytime soon, having personally witnessed it. There are beds but no bedding, so bring your own, a kettle but no breakfast, smells a little damp, not because of any leaks but mainly because of the old well down which the body of the executed monk and his victims are said to have been thrown. It sits directly under the house. This is occasionally mitigated by the dry heat from the professionally maintained central heating system when it chooses to leave it alone. The furniture is 70s authentic. It was brought from charity shops locally, as the original furniture was removed by the Pritchard family, as represented in the movie When the Lights Go Out, before they sold the property. As is the overall experience, the temperamental cooker is original, and dishwashers didn't exist in the 70s, if you get the drift. And on one fairly recent occasion, the bed in the smallest room, Diane's, was trashed by the poltergeist Fred during a 3 AM loss of temper, so please bear this in mind when deciding to spend the night in this particular room. However, if you get a thrill from the idea of spending time in a bit of a fusty-dusty old 50s ex-council house in the unpredictable presence of one of the most terrifying poltergeists in history, be our guest. All you'll need to do is pay something towards the maintenance of the old property and respectfully abide by some rules. And then you've got waivers, blah, 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 booking information. But I'm interested in what they're putting to like sell it. And then obviously I can't get to the Conjuring House's actual page because it doesn't exist anymore. But this is their TripAdvisor page, and this is the real location of the infamous hauntings of the Parent family as told by the Conjuring movie released in 2013. The paranormal phenomena continue today, making this one of the most haunted locations in America. We offer night investigations for paranormal investigators and paranormal enthusiasts. We also offer haunted and historic day tours, guided ghost hunts, and special events during selected months of the year. No reservations are required to access the property. Please see our website to book a private tour or stay. And then we have a more reputable place as well. We've got the Ancient Ram Inn. Okay, this one I actually don't mind. This one is written, it goes into like the history, like it's grade 2 listed and it's steeped in legend, it's COVID safe, blah, blah, blah. A little bit of the history, and then it evolved into a paranormal location because it has a life of its own. If you can ignore, that's not outright saying it's haunted, but it's saying like something a bit spooky is happening there. And then it goes into like the paranormal events, and it says experience a overnight ghost hunt like no other in one of England's most terrifying locations. Professional paranormal investigators as we uncover the supernatural mysteries within the walls of the Ancient Ram Inn. It's not outright saying that it's haunted. It's sort of dancing around the point, which I wish more of them were written like that. So this one's not so bad. And then we have the Tower of London, because I was like, what's like a really iconic one? This obviously goes into like all the history, and then like sightings of like Anne Boleyn, blah blah blah. I'm not reading all this, but it is like it's going into the history and like all the sightings. So it is claiming to be haunted. So again, I don't mind any of them, to be honest, because at the end of the day, these are businesses. Regardless of whether I think something is or isn't haunted, whether I think something is or isn't potentially experiencing paranormal activity or like generating paranormal activity, that doesn't matter. Like, would I love to go stay at 30 East Drive, regardless of whether something happens or not? Yes, of course I would. That property fascinates me. Regardless of whether I do or don't believe that something is happening in that place. Do I believe the promotional material that comes out of it? No, absolutely not, because at the end of the day, it's a business. Do I believe the fake teams that go there and fake shit? No. Do I believe the debunkers who go there and experience something a bit strange? That's more likely, yeah. And even some teams that go there and they are more on the reputable side of things, I'm more likely to pause and go, yeah, maybe. But do I believe this? Absolutely not. No, it's a business. It's going to lie to you to get you to spend your money there. That's how businessing works. God's sake. That's how marketing works. You gotta take this crap with a pinch of salt. And I can't sit there and judge this and not judge this or this. This one's not too bad. This one's, I guess, also not too bad. But I got a selection. You know what I mean? I can't judge one without judging the others. So, overnight stays include private access to the entire home. Does it say how big the home is? It doesn't. Okay. 5:30 check-in and 1:30 check-out. That is a late check-out, to be fair. 20 hours total. Gated property with private parking. Okay. 4 hours of access to the museum room with all artifacts. 9:30 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. Access to the museum under the supervision of experienced staff. Spiritual protective measures and history provided by staff. All rules and guidelines must be followed. This is also, I can't highlight on this website apparently, but this is also unsociable hours. So staff would also have to be paid more to do this shift as opposed to like an afternoon lunchtime shift. So that also needs to be taken into account. Full paranormal investigation and filming kit. Toolkit worth roughly $25,000 with over 50 different devices, night vision, body cameras and handheld cameras provided. Basic essentials and accommodations provided. Only water, sure. Bedding, towels, bathroom essentials, drinks and snacks. All paranormal investigation equipment and night vision cameras included with overnight stay. That's AI generated, that is a shame. I don't suppose it will be, but I would like to see this be replaced by a shot of what they're actually offering. I don't think they will, but it would be nice. Like this just to be a placeholder image, and then when they actually have like a kit put together, they can take a picture and actually upload it. An expansive ghost hunting kit with more than $25,000 will be available for use during your overnight stay. 2 night vision Canon XF405 cameras, 6 night vision body cameras, one-of-a-kind experimental devices such as 50+ paranormal investigation tools such as Panasonic DR60 EVP recorder. That is bullshit. Ovilus is also bullshit. Thermal cameras, motion sensor music boxes, bullshit. K2 devices, REM pods, spirit boxes, I'm on the fence about spirit boxes. Headphones, laser grid detectors, EDI meters. I have no idea what an EDI meter is, I'm gonna be honest. Spirit boards, flux meters. What the fuck is a flux meter? Magnetic flashlights, bullshit. Dowsing rods, probable bullshit. Spirit watch, I don't know what that is. Tripwires, spirit lanterns, probably bullshit. Envoy boo buddy, that just sounds like bullshit. Spirit chat, and far more. So a lot of these you're gonna get false positives. The thing is, the way I see this place, I know how it's being sold, but again, I've explained that. But this I see as more of like, it's a scare house. You're going there and you're paying a lot of money to be scared. Do I wish they were being a bit more transparent or even just like a bit more vague? Yes, I do. But you are paying for an experience, and with this shit, you're gonna get it. The thing is, as I've said, we can sit here and debunk. I keep trying to highlight, I can't. We can sit here and debunk all of this. We could, even they could be honest and be like, hey, none of this shit works. And people are still gonna have their own opinions. They're still gonna think that this shit works. So we can only do so much, you know? Like, people are gonna believe what they want to believe, and if they want to believe that this shit works and it's real, they're gonna believe that regardless of what anybody says. Okay, new owners of the Warren house. Matt Rife and Elton Castee have officially announced their purchase of the iconic Warren home, former home of legendary paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. Paired with the purchase of the home, they are now the legal guardians of the entire Warren Museum artifact collection for at least the next 5 years. With Matt and Elton's combined 12 years of paranormal investigation experience and having visited over 150 locations around the world, they are now ready to bring their expertise into preserving and sharing the Warren legacy with the public. We also need to take into account that Elton is part of Overnight that has been debunked heavily, many times, for years. So, again, people are going to believe what they want to believe. The evidence and the research is out there. Grifters gonna grift. People are gonna make money however they choose to make money. Do I wish people would make better choices? Yeah, sure. But people aren't. And also, gullible people are going to be gullible people. People are going to believe whatever they want to believe. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that this video, but I'm just really trying to get that point across. 1 reservation per night, 8 people maximum, registered guests only, ID is valid, have to be 18. Minors can go, but they have to be with a parental guardian the entire time. Makes sense. Any guest counts towards maximum occupancy, so I guess you can't take your baby, is what they're saying. Or if you do, they count. Like, there's no 3 under 2s or whatever. Rental rate does not change regardless of the amount of people, so it's a flat rate, which is fine. There is no maximum night limit, but we cannot hold nights for people looking to do multi-night bookings. Final list of guest names will be required approximately 2 weeks prior to arrival. Sounds fine. Access cannot be given earlier, that's fine. You'll be greeted by a host, waivers, blah blah blah. Welcome video, more waivers, and checkout cannot be extended, that's fine. Yeah, and the later checkout, I can highlight here, the later checkout time has been issued for those that will stay up until 4 AM or later to investigate. So they have given you like chance to sleep. I do like that. The home is fully furnished and all areas of the home will be accessible to overnight guests, including kitchen, living room, Warren's bedroom, den, Halloween room, Lorraine's basement, doll room, and the apartment on the 2nd floor. More areas may be added in the future. So, okay, they could be extending or renovating the home at some point, possibly. The home has brand new beds that can accommodate up to 8 guests with 2 queens, 2 twin, and 1 bunk bed. All bedding provided. 3 of the beds are Murphy-style beds that fold out. We have done this to maximize area for paranormal investigations and for those that may not need all the beds in the home. Seems fine. 2 bathrooms, towels and basic essentials provided. Property is equipped with top-of-the-line security system to monitor all points of entry for safety and eliminate trespassing. Private secure parking on property. Okay. The outside fire pit is not allowed for use for fires. Then why is it there? Just remove it. All of this is fine though, like you can't burn candles, incense, or vape or smoke. But there is a designated smoking. Yeah, there is a designated smoking area. All that makes sense. You don't want to accidentally burn the house down. As of 10 PM, guests will be asked to no longer utilize the front yard or front porch because of neighbours. Yeah, and then you can use the back, but noise to a minimum. I like that that's all in writing. And then they have to get you to sign waivers so they don't get sued. This is funny though. This includes, but it's not limited to, scratches, possession, attachments, vomiting, fainting, levitation, sleep paralysis, bruising, black eyes, psychic wounds, nightmares, voices in your head, astral projections, and beyond.
To infinity and beyond!
Like, I know they have to put it because people be crazy sometimes. Not in like a derogatory way, like very mentally ill over here. But, you know, It's just funny. Because a lot of this is completely self-induced. Like, psychosomatic. Because people, like, freak themselves out and then they experience these things because they think they should be experiencing these things, like, subconsciously, and then they happen. I do like that they're prioritising their staff with this as well. Like, all overnight guests will be given 4 hours of private. We know that, but including the items, blah, blah, blah. Time in the Occult Museum and passageway will be supervised by a 10+ year paranormal investigation veteran that is part of NESPA. At 9 PM prior to entry, our team will meet you at the museum entrance and provide you with spiritual protection, any information you'd like to ensure the guidelines are met within the museum, such as no touching the objects and basic respectful guidelines. They can also help provide any insight or idea for your investigation as well if you would like. The 9:30 to 1:30 time slot has been selected to pair with witching hours and ensure our team member can drive home safely. I like this because they are respecting their staff, unlike certain other paranormal locations. You are welcome to investigate anywhere else in the house, including the basement, during your stay. There may be CCTV system installed where you can still view the security cameras inside the Occult Museum while in the basement of the home to see if anything happens in the museum while you investigate elsewhere. This is not guaranteed yet, but currently being worked on. If you choose to use the devices or cameras, we will ask for a credit card to put on file in case of malicious damage or theft. Tools do break, accidents do happen. The credit card on file is in case of theft or intentional destruction, such as throwing something at a wall. Because that's never happened at a paranormal location on camera.
Oh, it is so... Dude, the Sally House all over again. No! You broke him! No! You just fucking hit Kim just fainted, bro! No!
You stopped that bear.
No! You roundhouse that bear off the table!
Imagine if it talks again.
Just like, why'd you keep me, bitch?
All devices will be on an organised and marked shelving system in the kitchen area of the home so everybody can clearly identify what tools have been taken and what needs to be put back before checkout time. All devices will be charged and prepared for you by our staff. A QR code will be provided that has short videos on how to use each tool or camera. SD and micro SD cards are not provided and guests are responsible for bringing their own cards. We may have some SD or micro SD card packages available for purchase if needed, but this is not guaranteed. The 2 Canon FX405 cameras utilise standard SD cards and the 6 body cameras utilise micro SD cards. 64GB cards at minimum per camera are advised. See, this is really good. I like this. We are not responsible for filming, offloading or anything in regards to the cameras other than providing them. Right, this is what everybody's kicking up a fuss about, or a lot of people are kicking up a fuss about. I also do not have a problem with it. No live streams without explicit permission prior to visit. No filming or network television without explicit permission prior to visit. No sponsored content, advertisements can be filmed on the property or with the property in the background under any circumstances. No drones, we have neighbours. I like this. Just like, we have neighbours, don't be a dick. Filming for personal use and social media is allowed, but please note all content of any length posted to any social media platform must be reviewed and approved by our team to ensure factual accuracy and respectful intent towards the home, museum and the Warrens. Additionally, we have to ensure that copyright or trademark content is not used, example, any of the Conjuring universe films, as, I'm not sure there's supposed to be a space here, but sure. We have had to deal with absurd amounts of fabricated stories such as Annabelle is missing that have forced us to place a review policy on all content to prevent this from happening again, especially if created from within the property. Unfortunately, this is now a mandatory step for us to have in place for all content creators due to such issues. So, this is very much a case of a small minority have ruined it for the... Why do I always say small minority? A bad minority has ruined it for like everybody else. Also, they have to deal with people like Warner Brothers. Is it Warner Brothers? I'm pretty sure it's Warner Brothers. Who holds the rights for The Conjuring? It is Warner Brothers. I have run out of tea. Oh my god, this is not... No, there we go. And if anything comes out from them, that directly conflicts with that contract that Ed and Lorraine put together, they could probably get sued. So they have to protect their ass. It's probably not so much like the Conjuring house, where she's just a control freak and has to protect her image or whatever. This is probably legal issues, especially as it is so heavily tied up with Ed and Lorraine, and Ed and Lorraine had a very specific contract drawn up about what could or couldn't be portrayed in media, and social media is a form of media. So this is probably not their fault. It's just liability that they have to abide to. Yeah, the fact that anyone seeking to create content in the home will be provided with additional assets to use in the videos, such as detailed fact sheet in regards to the Warrens, the home, their cases, artifacts, etc. Drone footage of the home, B-roll of the house, museum and artifacts, large quantity of archival photos and videos of the Warrens not found on the internet. Yeah, with how this is written, especially this, I think it's a legal thing because of the Warner Brothers contract. Ed and Lorraine's home has been open for overnight guests with the effort to continue building upon their legacy and the work in the paranormal field. The sole purpose is to allow more people to learn from and experience the history, home and the items themselves, but maintaining historical accuracy and respect is our top priority. I mean, if that was true, then you debunk the whole thing, but they can't. Well, 2 of our team members will review every piece of content within approximately 72 hours to ensure it meets all home guidelines and respectful integrity. Any content that is posted without approval is subject to copyright takedown and legal repercussions for violation of the overnight rental agreement and filming guidelines that will be signed upon arrival. Pieces under 3 minutes of content will not result in any additional filming fees. This review is covered within your overnight rental. Content longer than 3 minutes will occur with a content review fee based on the duration of the content to cover the cost of our 2 staff members to review and approve the content. If you intend to make content of any length, please notify us in advance via email or upon check-in for your overnight stay so we can notify our team. We are working to reduce the below fees by training additional team members to be able to do reviews in a more efficient manner, but as of now, they are below. 3 minutes to half hour, 200. It's a bit steep. 30 to an hour, 300. An hour to 2 hours, 400. 2 hours to 4 hours, 500. I mean, what do you charge in that instance? Because I guess they've got to sit there. And the thing is, you've got to, with pricing like this, you have to scale it from what is most reasonable for the most expensive one and then trickle it down. You can't be like, oh yeah, this costs like 50 quid and then be like, this one costs 500. Because that doesn't work. We also don't know how thorough they have to be. Like, are they just flat watching it through? Are they watching it on 2 times speed? Are they watching it, breaking it down, going into these fact sheets and fact checking everything? How long does this take? We don't know. And they're being upfront about it. Like, I don't understand. Like, I do understand it's expensive, but they're being upfront about it. These aren't hidden fees. It's not like, oh yeah, well, there will be a cost to get it reviewed, and then you don't find out what that cost is until you're submitting for the review. And they're like, oh yeah, that's going to be $500. Sucks to be you. They're being very transparent. If our team requests changes for the content for factual accuracy or the removal of subject matter that demonstrates intentionally disrespectful behaviour, that content must be resubmitted until approval. There are no additional filming fees or additional rounds of approval. And that's good as well. They could very easily be like, well, you're resubmitting, so that's another $500, please. But they're not. So they've probably factored in the fact that you might have to go a few rounds into these flat rates. Because that's free labour. If you're having to like rewatch and resubmit the whole thing, especially at like this longer time point, you know, it's expensive, don't get me wrong, but I don't have a problem with this. If you are looking to live stream, please contact us beforehand to discuss potential approval and be given filming rates to do so, as we will have staff monitoring the stream at all times to ensure factual accuracy, household guidelines are met, and respectful intent is maintained at all times. Any production company must contact us prior to booking to seek approval for any potential restrictions that may be in place. As content creators ourselves since 2016, we believe this is very fair balance across all of the above measures. If you do not agree, that's okay. You don't have to stay overnight here. And that's very true. You don't. It is truly a privilege and an honour to be able to call Ed and Lorraine's home our own for the night. Oh, your own for the night. And to be given full access to the Warren Occult Museum with all items. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I mean, whether you believe that it's haunted or not, no, it would be. It would be a once-in-a-lifetime experience, even if it's just stuff. Like, they are shit people, but it's still a legacy. It'd still be really cool to go there and be around all of that. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, $2,000. Friday and Saturday is their peak nights, that makes sense, $2,300. Bookings are only made through the official website, bookings are non-transferable. The person who made the booking must be at the property for check-in, or overnight bookings are paid in full upon checkout. Shopify does offer payment plans and various methods of that nature, but we do not offer anything of that nature ourselves. But they are still accepting payment plans from Shopify and places like that. We do not hold nights or security deposits for specific dates. If the date is not sold out, that's because somebody else has booked that night. Any booking cancelled less than 30 days from arrival is non-refundable. All other cancellations are subject to an automatic 20% fee. Yeah, I mean, this is the only thing they are offering. They are not doing like day visits, they're not doing daytime museum tours, they are not open to the public. This is literally the only thing they are offering to make money.
The plan here, and this is everything that we were working on and we've been figuring out, is when it comes to this house in particular, the way the zoning laws work, we're only allowed to have 8 people here per night, and it has to be their house, like an Airbnb. There's no public tours. You can't just show up here. You can't buy a ticket. You can't walk around for 10 minutes. The only people that are allowed here are the people that have booked the house for the night, and they are registered guests. They're signed in. That's the way this is going to work. So, extremely clear. I've talked to literally the mayor and the city and everyone here. I know all the rules. Those are the rules. Please just don't show up and think you can walk on the property. That can't happen. So with that being said, that limits it to 8 people per day that can possibly come here to learn about this place, experience it, continue the legacy, the lessons, the work, see the items, and everything else of that nature. So what we've been working on is trying to find a permanent home for the Warren Occult Museum that's currently here that can be open to the public.
I don't have a problem with this. Yes, it is a lot of money, but I want to do some maths, and now I'm not the greatest at maths, so bear with me. If we are doing, 8 people, because it's a flat rate, you can have up to 8 people. So yeah, obviously if you're going by yourself, this is extortionate. Realistically, nobody's going by themselves. So if we, divide by 8, and rounding up, that is $250. Yes, for a night that is still pretty expensive, but that is really not that bad. Not for everything you get. And just for the sake, divided by 8. Okay, so anywhere, I'm rounding up. What do you get for this price? You get private parking. You get access to questionable tech worth $25,000. But if you're splitting that between eight people, that is divided by 8, worth 3,125. You get a real bed with bedding. Access to, oh my god, I cannot think of the word that I need. I'm just gonna put soap because I cannot think of the word that I want. Place to yourself for 20 hours. Payment plan available through third party. Access to museum for 4 hours with staff. There was something about food, I think, at some point. I don't remember. You don't even need to take towels. You don't need to take anything here. And towels. I swear there was something about food at some point. I remember seeing people complain about it. Electricity, which isn't always a given in paranormal locations, so I'm gonna list it. And heating / hot water. Water, soda, snacks provided. So I have seen people complain that like, oh, but I could take my own bedding, I could take my own snacks, I could take my own soap, I could just like not shower that night, I could take my own tea, coffee, whatever. Okay, but that's not the service they're providing. Like, it's, I understand people being upset because it price caps people out. But cool, my neighbours are being really loud. Sorry if you can hear this, but you are paying for an experience here. This isn't 30 East Drive where you have to take a sleeping bag and sleep on a ratty mattress, which is part of that experience. And there's nothing wrong with that. People go into that knowing exactly what they're getting, exactly what they're paying for, and that is fine. This is exactly the same on the other end of the spectrum. You know, I'm fucking dirt poor, right? Whatever, it is what it is. But I don't think $250 for this experience is that much. Obviously, yeah, then you need to throw like the content fee on top of that, whatever. There are ways around that, but you know, I get to play around with this. Most of it is bullshit, but I get to play with it anyway. I get a real fucking bed. I get bedding. I don't have to take anything with me. You know, I only have to worry about an SD card. You know, you get the place to yourself, you're not with random ass people. You know, I get fucking hot water, which is a lot more than you can say in some of the places that you go. And yeah, okay, this isn't necessary, but they're providing an experience and they want it to be a nice experience. And yeah, that tax on money, that costs money. It's gonna bump this up. But if you are, you know, save money. Like, one, there's payment plans available through third parties, so like just do that if you really can't save this money. But getting it's a fucking flat rate, right? So just get 8 people together, you know, especially if you know there's enough of us, right? Like, get a group of debunkers, paranormal investigators, whatever, together and go there. Not all of you need to film content, right? You could even split the content costs between you if you really wanted to, and you decide which channels are gonna like put up that content. You could do shout outs to each other. You could react to the content that got paid for and approved, that sort of thing. There are ways around it. There are, you know, things you can do. And not every paranormal experience investigation place has to be grotty and falling apart. And I see people complaining that it price caps people out, but it doesn't. It does more fucking planning and whatever need to go into it to make sure that, you know, you can go and do something like this. Yes, of course it does. But a lot of us are like in other countries anyway. So we already need to be saving for flights and fucking hotels or whatever. This is just part of that cost. If you're going all that way anyway, you might as well make it worthwhile. They've been so transparent. You know what you're going in for. You know how much it costs. You know everything. You know what you're getting. And you can sit here and bitch and whine that it's too expensive and that they don't need to offer half this stuff and it's price capping people. But again, it's not. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, it was a shock to be like, Jesus Christ, that cost $2,000. Okay. For a night? Like, yeah. But once you start digging into like the reality of it, the fact that it's fucking convenient and convenience costs. You pay for convenience. It's just a fact. The fact that third party payment plans are available. The fact that it's a flat rate, and if you can find 8 or 7 other people that you can get along with for 20 hours. Like, yes, $250 is still expensive, but it's nothing on $2,000, right? And then, yeah, you got content fees on top of that, but they had to like spend God knows how much on lawyers to make sure that, you know, this was, you know, what was allowed within the context of, you know, pre-agreed fucking contracts and all that bollocks. So they have put a lot of money down on this place. It's a business. They need to make their money back, but they're also providing a fucking experience. Like, where can you go and get all of this anywhere else? Because I will wait. Provide me evidence of where you can get all of this anywhere else. It's not like they're charging this money on somewhere like 30 East Drive, right? Like, I feel like people expect so much for nothing, or they feel entitled to things for nothing just because other places don't charge that much or whatever. I don't even know. I don't know what it is, but if this is something you really wanted to do, you would find a way to make it happen. There are enough content creators out there. Because it's the content creators complaining about it. I'm just going to be straight up. It's the content creators complaining about it. So If they really wanted to, they could make this happen. You know, if I could save $250, being fucking broke as I am, if I really wanted to do this, they could make it happen. Anyway, hey, future me popping in real quick. I just want to say, just because I'm like, yeah, I don't care about the price or whatever, one, doesn't mean that it's not expensive, it is. And two, it doesn't mean that there's any credibility to this house at all. I don't think it's haunted. I think it is a load of crap. And I do think it's probably all going to fall apart in a few years. Don't know how sustainable their business plan is. Also, something I thought of was they said that they're the keepers of these haunted objects for like 5 years. So even though they own the home, that implies that there's some sort of lease on the items. So there must be some kind of fee for that. And knowing Nespa, it's probably not cheap, which is probably a huge part of the reason it's so expensive. It will be interesting to see if Nespa ever do revoke access to these haunted items, what will happen, because at the end of the day, then they just have a house that's not haunted, according to Ed and Lorraine. So the whole point was their house wasn't haunted, that everything was blessed and contained in the basement and everything was fine. I guess we will just have to wait and see and watch over the next 5 years as to what sort of crap they come out with and just debunk and try and clear up the narrative where possible. I think part of the reason I don't have a problem with the price of the house as such is, one, it's an experience. Two, it's kind of a bougie experience. Three, if you get 8 people together, it's not that expensive, like, in the grand scheme of things. 4, I view it more as sort of like, oh, if you're a fan of like the Conjuring universe and the films and the movies and stuff like that, then that is a great experience, rather than this is a legitimate haunting. And I know that's how it's being marketed, but as I've said before, we have other supposedly haunted locations, which, yes, granted, are cheaper, but they're marketed in a very similar way, and I feel like we need to be holding a standard, and at least most people very much aren't doing that. But yeah, I think that's all I really wanted to add, so I will let you go back to past me now. Bye! That felt like a really ranty video, and I didn't really want it to come across like that, but I'm fed up of seeing bullshit, to be honest. Things are allowed to cost money. Things are allowed to be expensive, especially when they're providing a good experience. Do I wish things were a bit more above board in terms of like it's allegedly haunted and all that? Yeah, of course, but basically none of these other places do that. So we're holding them to a standard we don't hold other places to, and that's not fair. If we're going to have these standards need to be across the board, whether we like a location or not, whether we like the owners or not. It's just the more I do like this paranormal content creation stuff, the more I see the hypocrisy in it. Places like 30 East Drive are like it's absolutely fine. Or it would be like, oh yeah, well, we caught the maid like faking content, but whatever. But if that happened here, it would be fucking like, it would be torn apart in seconds. Like, I get it, but I don't get it. Like, just because I understand like why it happens because people have biases doesn't mean I'm okay with that. We should have a flat standard and hold everybody to that standard. You can't just be like, oh yeah, but it's fine. Just because you like a place, just because you like a person. No, flat standard. But people are going to be people. It is what it is. This is my opinion on it. I personally don't have an issue with the price or the website particularly. It's a business at the end of the day, and business needs to do business things. So we will see what comes out of it. Obviously, you're going to get the influx of like the Sam and Colby and the Twin Paranormal and all of that, but you're going to get that absolutely anywhere. They are not the only people that can afford this. They're probably like the only people that can afford to do it in such a small group. But again, if you get 8 of you together, it's really not that bad. So yeah, anyway, that's my thoughts on this. If you like this video, don't see why you would, but if you like this video, give it a like, consider subscribing. Here is my other content that I do, and if you are one of my simmers, maybe consider joining Project Plumbob. And regardless of who you are, I do have my own Discord server now, so if you'd like to hang out with me outside of videos, then consider joining. I would love to have you. it is rather quiet right now because it is still very new and I am still a very small channel. But, you know, with time, it'll grow, I'm sure. But yes, that is everything I have for you today. If you have any video suggestions, I would love to hear them. So with that, I'm going to leave you to the rest of your day. I hope it's a good one and I will see you next time. Bye!